All right, Orange Crush workout number 17, I believe. Yeah, number 17. For the general warm-up, we're going to do a couple different things here. We're going to start off with some hip 90-90s. So if they want to just leave it at that 90-90, cool. If they want to throw in a pigeon push-up, that's great. So they can switch back and forth with those. And then bringing one leg back, reaching down for a hurdler stretch, hold for a second or two, switch those legs, hurdler stretch on the other side, switching back and forth a few times, again holding for a few seconds on each side. Then I really want to get their shoulders pretty decently toasty here. So I want them to do between 10 to 15 of an up dog, down dog. So coming out, up dog, down dog, that's one. Again, between 10 to 15 of these. Really trying to get some weight into their shoulders, as well as getting the calves and hamstrings stretched out. Speaking of their hamstrings, we're gonna have them come into about 10 bootstrapper squats here. Dropping those hips low, bringing the chest up, and then bringing the butt up high and dropping the chest. 10 bootstrapper squats. And then 10 plank shoulder taps. So from a push-up plank position here, alternating tapping shoulders 1, 1, 2, 2, 10 on each side of those. Then the workout. So it's 25 minutes, it's an AMRAP, so getting through as many rounds as possible. That said, the goal is to keep on moving. The goal is not necessarily to get through as many rounds as possible. In fact, I'll change that over to 25 minutes of, I don't know how I want to label that, but you'll understand. So it's they're going to do 20 dumbbell overhead presses, 20 kettlebell swings, and then they're going to bike for a minute, trying to go pretty hard, but a pace that they can go hard and maintain the next round. We don't want them to go so hard that the next round they're totally dying. But that said, they're about to get a minute of rest after they do that, before they go into 20 squats, 20 each side of a plank tap, and then 1 minute rowing hard, and then they'll get a minute of rest. So that's the flow. As far as the weights for things, you want people working with a weight that is tough to push through 20 reps of, but at the same time they can do. You don't ever want somebody getting stopped at 15 reps because their shoulders are so smoked on those overhead presses. You want people to be able to get through all 20 and then go right into the kettlebell swings, get through all 20 of those, and then right into their minute on the bike going hard. This should be shorter high intensity bursts, maybe 2.5-ish minutes and then a minute of rest, but doing that throughout 25 minutes. So that's what I mean by that, and not quite being an AMRAP. I would say if they are, as far as the specific warm-up, I would break down the kettlebell swing. Whenever we have kettlebell swings, I like to break that down a little bit more for people, just because that's something that people struggle with, and it's something that if we're doing poorly, that can be really not nice on people's backs. So I always try to tell people that kettlebell swing should start from out in front of you. It doesn't start from here and then we kind of hump it up after a few. It starts out in front, so that way we can come into those kettlebell swings right away. So what I would do is I would maybe have people drill just that little bit of a hike and bring it down, a little bit of a hike and bring it down, and then try one swing, come back down, one swing, bring it back down, and then maybe they do 3 swings for a couple rounds, and then maybe 1 set of 5 swings. So after you've drilled that kettlebell swing, people should be breathing pretty decently heavy. Have them do another 2 sets of 15 dumbbell overhead presses and 15 squats. Again, the weight that we're looking for is one that they for sure can get through all 20 each time, that they're never going to be stopped because it's too much weight, but at the same time does get harder as they get to 15, 16, 17, as they get to those higher reps there. So yeah, dumbbell overhead presses, just the standard dumbbell overhead press. Just pressing out. Those I do want to stay strict, just because the kettlebell swings are gonna jack their heart rate even more. So like starting off relatively not as crazy jacking the heart rate. So again, keeping those strict. 20 kettlebell swings, the bike, and then 20 squats. Definitely some people can weight them. Some people might be just going body weight, and then some people might have to maybe go down to 15 reps. If we have some heavier ladies, they might need to do 15 again. So that way they're never breaking it up. They're always getting all 20 right through. 20 each side of a plank tap. That is a front elbow plank. And they're going to take whatever weight they were using for their squats, have it sitting on in front of them. So if that's a kettlebell, cool. If that's a dumbbell, cool. Whatever they happen to be using. They want it to where it gets harder the farther out that they have to reach. So making sure that they're relatively at a good distance where, again, they can get through 20 on each side, and making sure that people are staying in a good plank position there. So again, the specific warm-up, drill the kettlebell swings, and then have people take maybe 2 practice rounds of like 12 to 15 overhead presses and 12 to 15 squats, just to figure out a good weight for them to use for the workout. Shorter, high-intensity bursts, trying to get through all that, going hard, and then get their minute of rest. And like I said, trying to maintain a similar pace and on the bike and on the rower each round. What I will say is that if people need a little bit of extra rest, if they need to turn that into 90 seconds of rest or even 2 minutes because they're going freaking hard, cool. If they're going hard and need a little extra rest to be able to maintain that pace, totally fine, because it should be short, high intensity here. So, yeah, let me know if you have any questions.